So I'm going to talk to everyone today about getting the right products and services to market. And so just a very quick intro. So who am I? So my name's Zara Powell. My background's very much within agile delivery, from consulting in not-for-profits through to parachuting in and working in financial services in the City of London, always very much working with multidisciplinary product teams, supporting getting products and services out to market, but also coaching and educating in ways of working and prioritisation. Very passionate about diversity inclusion in the workplace and really proud to recently have been named as part of the Tech Women 100 list. As you can see on the slide, I also very proudly have a 2-year-old spaniel called Ralph, but more seriously, I'm a client delivery lead at Zone. So who are Zone? Zone are a customer experience agency who generate value for businesses by creating transformative experiences. We've got offices both in Bristol and King's Cross, and are really fortunate to work with lots of really cool and exciting brands, many of which you can see up on the screen now. I'm really privileged and fortunate enough to actually have worked with a number of those brands you can see on the screen over the last 3 years whilst I've been working at Zone. So in terms of my talk then, talking to you about getting products and services to market, the more important question is actually around how to get the right products and services to market. And so how do I do that? So often the focus is around getting something out of the door into customers quickly. And while speed is of course important, actually ensuring that you're putting something out there that is valuable and what your customer actually needs is even more important. And so what I'm going to spend the next sort of 5-10 minutes talking to you about is just that, using a couple of examples along the way. I guess from a Zone perspective, what does that look like at a very zoomed out view? We work to help diagnose any areas in which we can go after things. So what is the problem you're trying to solve? And we do that diagnosis often through rapid immersion workshops, trying to help understand client issues and collaboratively design projects together. And then we can tackle them often using our accelerator model. The accelerators are designed to conceive, test and validate digital strategies and transformation initiatives to help launch products and services and getting them to market. It's very much a multidisciplinary exercise focusing on moving from idea and getting that into market whilst validating that hypothesis and idea along the way using agile and lean methodologies. That then can feed into larger scale transformative deliveries and programs of work. So that's great. That's really, really cool. And that's often how we work. But I guess how do I apply it to real life? What does that mean for anyone listening today? So as I mentioned, the best place to start is to actually think about what is the problem you're trying to solve and identifying and understanding that. This can sometimes mean taking a step backwards in understanding the why, rather than focusing on a solution or an idea that you may already have. Whilst you may end up back there, there could also be lots of other different solutions out there which may be more focused on your client customer experiences. It might be more suitable for your business needs, or may well be more technically feasible or scalable. So it's worth just taking that moment to pause and understand the problem you're trying to solve. To try and bring this to life a little bit more, I'm actually going to use a project that I've recently finished working on for PRS, for music, the Performing Rights Society, and just show how we applied some of that thinking and logic along the way. So as I said, the Performing Rights Society for music, they ensure that members and licensees get paid their royalties as they should. And basically the challenge that we were personally working with them on trying to solve was around how do they bring their M brand, which currently had been sitting separately to the PRS website, and bring that in. So the M brand was a print magazine going out to members, and an unsupported standalone platform as well. And so the challenge we had was around how to bring that all together. So in terms of getting started, for us, it's really important about applying a one-team approach, and in anything that you do, I'd really encourage this across the whole process to encourage transparency and to help build close working relationships. This is exactly what we did when working with PRS. We had an amazing product owner provided by them, and we worked really closely both with developers from Zone and PRS working together as one. And in addition, we had UX design and content working really closely with the design teams and stakeholders on their side. This is super important because it's really important to apply a multidisciplinary approach, because it means that you're balancing the thinking. So it's not just focusing on the creative or the tech, it's about bringing those needs together. Once you've understood the problem, it's really important to understand what good looks like and what is enough. So defining what the MVP looks like, how are you going to get there, and ensuring that you follow an iterative approach to allow for continuous delivery of value. It's also super important to value on just enough. There's lots of perfectionists out there, and whilst that's absolutely fine, striving towards perfection can take a lot of time and effort, which ultimately leads to spending lots more money. And so it's identifying what's good enough to get out there, to get that data and insight, and then allow you to iterate and continue to expand on and enhance as you go. And one way of looking at this and thinking about it is the known sort of concept around thinking about a testable, usable, and then lovable approach. So just sharing here a slide around bringing that to life a little bit more. So thanks to my lovely colleague Jess, who previously pulled this together. But if you think literally simply in terms of these emojis, from a testable canoe through to a usable sailing boat through to a very lovable speedboat, and following that concept, it still works, but it's how you build and enhance and make things better and better. So in terms of the earliest testable product, so using the concept of what that may look like, it's really important to think about identifying the highest value opportunities as a team. And then working collaboratively to brainstorm solutions using tools such as Design Studio. So what you can see on the screen now is actually a snippet of a Design Studio that we ran. And then validating, so taking those ideas that have come through there and validating and testing those hypotheses, often using sort of either sketches or low fidelity prototypes using tools such as Figma. This allows for design thinking and validation for concepts for delivery. It's really important, as I hope it's starting to come through, that everything that you do should be validated with customers, key business stakeholders and markets, ensuring continuous validation. This is something that we did throughout, whether it be through using optimal sort to help identify the categories for content, right the way through to working with the board and key stakeholders when thinking about things like the navigation of the site and where M should sit, through to how to display the distribution amounts so that members knew if and how much and when they could expect those amounts to land. This helps then tie into the earliest usable product, working very much as part of the agile team. In this instance, we were using Scrum. We can then start scoping out and estimating the work, helping to both form but also refine our backlogs. We can see on the screen here an example mapping exercise or a mini Amigo session. This is just driven from BDD, business-driven development, whereby the teams work together as a multidisciplinary unit to break down the work into understandable chunks, understanding any questions or unknowns and breaking those out along the way. And from there, executing and delivering upon what that usable product may well be through incremental releases. And in this particular instance, over the 12 weeks, we were releasing fortnightly, which then winds up with sort of your earliest lovable product. So for us, you can see on the screen is a screenshot of what that ended up looking like. So you can see the M magazine integrated with the PRS for Music site. But it's also super important that you can measure the impact and learn from that. So as I say, it's very much an iterative process. This should be powered by data, fully leveraging insights to help decision make, to also then help inform with future ideas. So in this instance, potentially exploring personalization. So in a nutshell, within 12 weeks, the team audited and migrated around 9,000 articles, developed a brand new design system, continuously understood and validated needs throughout, whilst creating a new area of the site. So whilst that's a real life example of something that we've done recently or I've done recently, I guess what are the key takeaways for you? So what do you need? What do you need to know? What do you need to understand to apply this way of thinking moving forward? So a few things that will help you with success are to have a fully empowered product owner to help unblock barriers and help sign things off and make key program decisions. Any existing research, understanding any key dependencies, whether that be parallel work streams or otherwise, but also the constant collaboration between the teams, remembering to continuously test, validate and iterate upon that, and holding yourselves accountable to the testable, usable and lovable concept. But more broadly than that, I also wanted to leave you with a couple of tools and tips that you can take away back to your teams and give a try as well. So there are 3 really key and interesting activities and areas which I wanted to share, many of which you're probably familiar with already. The first, I guess, is the opportunity canvas. So Canvas is a really great tool to help facilitate conversations, particularly when starting engagements. And they're really great because you can continue to refer back to them. Often really good to use tools such as Miro, particularly if any of the teams are remote. But from an opportunity canvas perspective, it really allows to help drive discussion around everything from your vision through to what the opportunities are, what may help get you there, what may hold you back and restrict you, and also what does success look like, what are those metrics. The second tool or activity I'd like to leave you with is Design Studio. So I referenced them earlier on in the presentation. Design Studio is a multidisciplinary collaborative workshop, and it basically enables the team to have a shared understanding of a problem and generating a diverse set of solutions to try and solve that. It's super important that it's multidisciplinary and you've got lots of different brains and ways of thinking in those sessions. A few hints and tips on how to run a successful design studio would be to assign a design studio owner. So that person should be empowered to and understand how to answer any questions that may arise throughout, and really understand that problem inside out. As I mentioned, making sure it's multidisciplinary, and also making sure that you do something with it. So once you've got the results off the back of the design studio, actually then turning those into coherent ideas so that you can then go ahead and test. And then finally, I thought it was a really nice thing that we do both with our clients but also internally as well is hackathons. So this doesn't have to be just a completely tech thing, but actually anyone can get involved, from whether you're from the business, whether you're creative or technical or otherwise. When you've got a problem that you know you want to solve, it's a really nice thing to go after and bring people together. If possible, if you have any analytics that support that, then obviously that's really brilliant to bring those along to then start brainstorming ideas as part of multidisciplinary teams. Personally, I think treats and music often help with hackathons to keep the mood and spirit going, but they are optional. And then off the back of that, you're able to test your hypothesis, and if any of those are validated, then try them out. This is something that we've done with one of our clients, whereby we did a hackathon and we brainstormed a load of ideas and prioritised one to try out. And through some guerrilla testing that we did with real users, we were able to bring to life the concept of photo registration. This was rolled out to one market in 8 weeks and then followed out to the rest of the markets beyond that. And I think it's just a really nice way of bringing to life how great a hackathon can be, because sometimes what may seem like a pipe dream or just a nice creative exercise as a bit of a fresh way of thinking really can lead to some of the best and most successful ideas. Thank you so much to everyone for listening. I appreciate that this was supposed to be a talk that was supposed to be done in person, and so I hope that it's been easy enough to follow along to the presentation today. I've left my email address as part of this as well, so if you've got any additional questions or you wanted to follow up, then please do drop me a line and I'd be more than happy to have a chat and go from there. So thank you very much for listening. I hope it was helpful, and all the best. Thanks.